I really thought being book smart was enough. I had the certificates, the instructor credentials, the binder full of lesson plans. I could quote the safety rules in my sleep. I thought knowledge was the shield. But my first day on a live firing range taught me something hard. Confidence without humility is dangerous. Not loud dangerous, quiet dangerous. And I just didn't quite understand that yet.
Everybody ready? Let's do it.
Before my first class, I believed the job was simple. No more than everybody else, deliver clean information, answer every question, look competent. I treated teaching like a performance, all right? I stand there, dispense knowledge, students would absorb it, take it all in, and they leave safer. That was the formula in my head. My lesson plans were kind of dialed in, color-coded, time to the minute, PowerPoint polished is ready to go. I thought the deeper my technical knowledge, the better instructor I'd be. If somebody struggled, I assume they not listening, right? Looking back, that was ego, not confidence. It was ego. Can my ego get kind of big? Yeah, maybe. I was so focused on being an expert that I never stopped to ask what it feels like to be a brand new shooter holding a firearm for the first time. All right, so listen, one of my first students was a lady in her 40s. We'll call her Jane Doe. She wasn't there to be tactical. She wasn't trying to impress anybody. She was afraid of the handgun that her husband had, and she wanted to understand it. That's it. We did the classroom work. We worked on grip, worked on stance, told them about dry fire, get the dry fire reps in. Everything looked fine. Then we went to the range. We loaded one round. And the second that gun became real, her hands started shaking, her posture collapsed, the breathing changed. And what I do? Went right back to the script. Firm grip, thumbs forward, a line of sights. Technically, I was correct. Emotionally, I was useless. She squeezed her eyes shut, pressed the trigger, and the recoil startled her. We all knew that was gonna happen, right? For half a second, the muzzle kind of drifted. Nothing catastrophic happened, but it was enough. Of course, my heart jumped a little, and instead of coaching, I corrected. Sharp tone, hollered at her, get the muzzle down range. The rule was right, but the delivery was all wrong, all right? I watched that fear turn into shame. She put the gun down, she looked at me and said, I don't think I can do this. Jesus Christ. And that was the moment I realized I wasn't teaching a person, I was reciting information. And information doesn't calm fear, connection does. You gotta connect with the people that you teach. All right, so listen, that day hurt, but it exposed something I needed to see. I wanted to look like the expert. I wanted to have all the answers, but when you protect your ego, you stop protecting your student. All right, real confidence doesn't need to flex at all. It doesn't need to win every exchange. The best instructors I've trained under since then, they're calm, they're humble, and if they mess up a demo, they own it. They turn it into a lesson. No excuses, no defensiveness. That builds trust real fast, all right? Because students don't need perfection. They need safety and clarity. The moment I cared more about their growth than my image, I got a lot better. Now listen, I know a lot of you probably the same way. On the empty range, I was smooth, fast reload, tight groups, clean demos, but pressure changes things. For her, fear broke the fundamentals. For me, stress broke patience, all right? Pressure doesn't create flaws, it exposes them. Heard that before. That's when I truly understood fundamentals. You don't practice until you get it right. You practice until you can't get it wrong under stress. Your grip, your stance, your sight alignment, trigger control, and as an instructor, patience, tone, observation. Those are fundamentals too if you're teaching somebody. Now I spend more time on the boring stuff than ever before, all right? Because under pressure, you default to your deepest level of training. And my job is to make sure that default is solid. All right, so kind of figuring out that I'm teaching a human, not a gun, that was like the biggest shift. The firearm is not the center of the lesson. The human being, the person is. Some students show up nervous. Some show up overconfident. Some kind of carry past trauma. We've seen that before. If you don't read that correctly, you miss the entire job, all right? Now, before we ever go hot, I watch breathing. I look at the posture. I ask better questions. And sometimes the best tool of the moment isn't instruction. It's reassurance, all right? Slowing down, saying we're not in a rush. And here's something that changed me. I don't know. That sentence builds more credibility than pretending ever could. If I don't know something, I say it. And I go find the answer. Because my job is not to look smart, it's to keep people safe. So if you don't know something, say, I don't know. Roll on. I'm just going to ask a question here. If you teach formally or informally, let me ask you, what's the biggest lesson the range taught you that no book ever mentioned? Drop it down below. These stories matter. I want to hear them. All right, so listen, after that first experience, I kind of rebuilt everything. I studied instructors who could connect. I went and got more training myself. So I wanted people that could connect, not just shoot. I trained my own fundamentals harder than ever, and I landed on something simple: confidence in execution, humility in assessment. As an instructor, you got to be decisive about safety. If something unsafe happens, you stop it immediately. Clear, firm, no hesitation. It's not ego, it's responsibility. But outside of those moments, you stay humble. You double check yourself. You stay a student. Because the second you believe you've arrived, you start declining, partner. So if I could do it again, if I could go back to that first day, I wouldn't change the rules. I changed my approach, all right? I'd see shaking hands as information, not a problem. Maybe pause a little sooner, slow the pace. Don't rush. Build small wins. Focus on breathing before bullets. Because the most important tool on the range was never the firearm. It was always about trust. The ability to calm fear, to build confidence step by step, the ability to empower someone instead of overwhelm them. That's what makes you a real instructor. It ain't volume. It ain't credentials. It ain't ego. Quiet competence. Steady pressure, deep humility. So did the certificates make me an instructor? Hell no. That humbling moment, yeah, that did. And if you're stepping into teaching or leadership of any kind, remember this. You're not there to be the hero. You're there to guide someone else, all right? You're there to guide them through something that feels intimidating. Be confident when safety demands it. Be humble everywhere else, all right? Stay safe, train hard, and stay grounded. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.